Anna Alex is joining us today. She has been founding already 2 ventures, and she started her career with an economics degree from University of Freiburg. And her first venture was OUTFITTERY, which she co-founded together with a CDTM student in 2012. OUTFITTERY became the Europe-wide market leader for personalized retail. Anna has been operating as a CEO for over 6 years at OUTFITTERY and then joined the advisory board in 2019. Beginning of this year, she founded Planetly, and Planetly has a mission to make the business world climate neutral and thus combine purpose and profit. So a very important topic, and she will talk today about how companies can be transformed into a new normal in a sustainable way. So thank you so much for being here, Anna. Welcome at the Inspire&Dine.
Hello, happy to be here. Good. So I'm sharing my screen now to show you my presentation. Okay, I hope you can see it well. And I'm clicking the presenting button here. Can you all see it and hear me well?
Yes, perfect. Thank you, Anna.
Okay, great. Yes, as you said, I have a personal connection to the CDTM. Both of my co-founders at OUTFITTERY actually studied in Munich and got to know each other at CDTM. So great program. Absolutely, and I'm happy to speak here tonight. I think Julia was the one 7 years ago or 8 years ago who spoke about OUTFITTERY, and now I'm happy to talk more about Planetly tonight than about OUTFITTERY. And I could now start my presentation with a picture of our wonderful Earth. Instead, I've chosen something else, a quote from Larry Fink, the biggest asset manager or the largest asset manager in the world. And he says, sustainability will drive the way we manage risk, construct portfolios, design products, and engage with companies. And this was huge when he said that. I think it was beginning of the year. So that person who really cares about profits only is suddenly talking about sustainability. So what's going on? So that's why I decided to share this quote first, and then show you an image of our beautiful Earth. What you see here is the Earthrise, a picture taken from the NASA astronauts of Apollo 8. It was the first picture ever taken from space of our Earth as a whole and in total. And so now zooming back to us, we really think that the age of delivery has begun. And why is that so? I want to give you some scientific facts. So we're targeting at a scenario where the global warming is limited to 1.5 degrees. But if you look at the current regulations that are putting through in politics, we're more towards a 2.6 degree scenario. So 1.1 degree need to be covered from somewhere else. And we do see that the economy and the business world has a huge lever there and have a huge responsibility as well to act there. We believe that climate neutral companies will be the norm in the next years, will become the norm in the future. And our mission with Planetly now is to make sustainability scalable, because currently it is not really scalable. So the idea for Planetly came me while I was still at OUTFITTERY, trying to understand the footprint of OUTFITTERY. I pledged in an initiative called Leaders for Climate Action, where I pledged to know and offset my personal footprint, but as well the footprint of my company. So I tried to find out what the footprint of Outfittery was, and suddenly found myself with a consultant with an Excel sheet running around our company and asking us a lot of data. And I was like, wait a second, that cannot be it. So if the carbon footprint is the most important KPI of humanity of the century, there should be better ways to track it. Knowing that how much effort we're putting into tracking everything else, into tracking every newsletter, every click on every banner. So this is really what we made our mission now at Planetly, and where we founded Planetly. So we make it incredibly easy for businesses to understand their corporate carbon footprint, to analyze it, and understand the hotspots, to reduce it then and take actions in order to reduce it, and as well to offset what cannot be reduced, and by this becoming carbon neutral. So we're basically the one-stop shop solution kind of for carbon neutrality, and want to make this really easy and step up our game in terms of usability and actionability with our software. And we already had quite some impact, which I'm pretty proud of. So we are already served over 25 customers. We're very, very closely working together with our pilot customers. We very much believe in the value of co-creating. So we don't want to hide for 2 years in our room and building something which the world does not need, but we are very closely co-creating our business together with our customers. Some of our pilot customers, for example, are HelloFresh, or Vuga, or Tourlane, or Friday. So quite some well-known companies. We've already offsetted 120,000 tons of CO2, which equals 500 million kilometers traveled by car. And we converted already to green energy quite a bit, 2.5 gigawatt per hour, and we are 35 team members now. And we're just getting started. And here a quick snapshot of our company. And there's one number on this chart which I want to stress, and this is how much we raised. Because shortly before the first lockdown, we raised a seed round of 5 million for Planetly. And why am I telling you this? Because I quickly want to focus on one point here. So we are a for-purpose, for-profit company, as I always call it. And by this, I mean that we have a huge purpose in the middle of our business model. And at the same time, we believe that a for-profit organization has much more tools to really achieve their goals. And what I do believe is I see a new generation of startups here. And as I know, probably many of you are thinking about founding their own companies at some point. And I really do see a new generation of startups and founders here who are doing exactly this, who are combining purpose and profit. And there's a really good reason to do this, because impact in the end is the equation of purpose and scale. So you can have the best purpose in the world without scaling it and staying with 3 people in some room somewhere and not really getting to scale, you will have no impact. So true impact is really defined by a strong purpose, but as well by scale. And the scale, for scaling, there are several tools, of course. So one of the tools is software, is technology. So it's much more scalable than consultants, obviously. And another tool is venture capital and investors' money. And that's why we, for us, decided to take on this path, raising 5 million from conventional investors, not from impact investors. But from really conventional investors, because this is, much more scaled, much better, and much more scalable than any other path we see. Yeah, and that's already from my side. I'm looking forward to hear your questions and to connect. Feel free to add me on LinkedIn or write me a message later and follow us. I'm looking forward to this. Thank you.
Thank you so much for your talk, Anna. Such an important topic, as I already mentioned it. And of course, we have questions coming from the audience already. The first question I like to ask you, Anna, is how did you meet your co-founder at Planetly?
We already know each other from Rocket times. So before I founded OUTFITTERY, I was at Rocket, and yeah, we worked together there basically. So we know each other for like 10 years. So we stood in contact, and he founded Helpling and had quite a similar kind of entrepreneurial journey like I had. And so we had a good like basis of trust basically when we met again, and then realized that now we want to do something with a slightly bigger purpose.
Maybe one more question again from the audience. Is top-down regulations or bottom-up decisions more important to reduce emissions?
Top-down regulations or bottom-up? I mean, as I outlined, right? So the top-down is super, super important. It will make up a big part of achieving our goal, and politics plays a huge part. And just by stepping up, like from the business side, it doesn't mean that I don't see politics as being super, super important in this whole thing. Of course, this can accelerate a lot of things, and still we do see a lack of tools in order to really do this. And we do see a lack, still to bridge this gap to the 1.5 degree, and this needs to come then from the voluntary market and from the businesses.
Mm-hmm. Thank you, Anna. Can you maybe elaborate a little bit more on how you actually measure sustainability?
For us, right now, we're focusing on CO2 and the CO2 equivalents. So on the climate KPIs, basically, and not on all sustainability KPIs. There are much more. But as we see this as the most pressuring ones. We start with these. This is our current focus. So we are measuring these according to the GHG protocol standard, which is an international accounting standard for carbon emissions. And this standard is separating the emissions of a company in scope 1, 2, and 3. Maybe some of you've heard that before. Scope 1 and 2 are basically the direct emissions of the company. And scope 3 are then the emissions by service providers, supply chain, and not directly connected to the company, but still very much dependent on the company. So that's why we encourage every company to as well know their scope 3 emissions.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. One more thing that the audience is also interested in is, what position do you see Planetly in the future market and industry?
So we definitely see ourselves as like the tool in order to track all of this, and kind of the coach for the companies to really start their sustainability journey there. We do not see ourselves kind of replacing consultants or something in that. So it is rather that the consultants can actually work with our software, because what we can do is we can really process huge amounts of data, logistics data, production data, all data that we automatically get from the different systems within the companies. And we want to be and will be a SaaS company, so software as a service company. We are a software company, we're not a consulting company. But there is definitely a lot of need for consulting as well, because space is still kind of new for many businesses who haven't like taken so much action in the past. So we are very happy as well, to work together with consultants on that side.
One more interesting question. with venture capital money comes also return on investment expectations. And how do you align those with your sustainable purpose? And what do you prioritize if sustainability and profit are not aligned?
Yeah, so I hope I will never be in the situation where this is not aligned, and I that's why we basically thought a lot about as well our business model and the whole model as such. And I do think it is possible to find these business models where profit and purpose is really aligned to each other. So for us, we're charging companies for our software solution. So the bigger we get, the more companies analyze and track the carbon footprint, understand it, and take action. So on that side, this is very much aligned. And now you might argue that is not always possible to align it in a way as we do it with Planetly. I do believe it is possible in a lot of ways, and there are a lot of business models out there where it will be possible. And yes, sometimes you need to think about it twice and think about it a little harder and like think about as well the pricing logics, everything behind, but it is possible. And I think this is really the defining way forward to found companies and to build businesses.
Thank you, Anna. We are already, unfortunately, at the last question of tonight. But if you would have €1 million to invest in something to reduce CO2 emission, what would it be?
So mm, what would it be? So okay, I have an answer on that, but I need to talk about two sentences about the whole market. So there are some projects or products like climate action projects which are certifiable by standards, and there are some that are not, and there are various reasons because like why some are and some aren't. This would be not good go too much into depth. And we do have both. So we offer projects for our customers that where the customers receive these certified projects. But there are some really, really exciting projects as well, which are not certifiable. And I guess I would spend the €1 million in one of these projects. This is especially what I found especially interesting currently is all projects around regenerative agriculture, also regenerative Landwirtschaft. Because our agriculture and how we manage our soil has a huge potential when it comes to the climate crisis. And one movie tip at this point is Kiss the Ground. You will find it for €1 somewhere online. Kiss the Ground. This is talking a lot about regenerative agriculture. It's a hard word, but it has a lot of potential.
Well, thank you very much, Anna, for joining us tonight here at the Inspire&Dine and giving us your insights on sustainability. Very interesting, and thank you so much. Thank you so much for tuning in tonight. I hope you enjoyed our talks and see you at the next Inspire&Dine.